showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
All right, let's get this started. What's going on, folks? Yeah, just turn it up wherever you at. I am back for another episode, GCOM Radio. How's everybody been? How has your week been going? Hopefully super fine and super fantastic. Sometimes you just got to have the goodness happening and not so much of the bad. Let's see if we can have a running streak here and keep the good times rolling on. Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in wherever you at. We're here for another episode. A lot of different things have been going on for the week, and I've been all right, man. I've been all right, chilling, laying low, and doing what I got to do. You know, a lot of different things, but yeah, nothing fantastic. Same old rigmarole. Anything in particular? Hey, yeah, I'm going to Disney World. Yes, I'm going to Disney World. I don't know when I'm going to Disney World. Matter of fact, I do know, but I'm just not going to tell you. I'm just not the type of person that's going to just rattle off every place that I'm going and what time, date. I'm just not. I know there's a lot of people that do this podcasting and do everything else, and they just say, hey, I'm going over here. And I'm like, on this day, I always thought, I'm like, why are you telling the universe, everyone that's out there in the podcast realm, where you're going to be at what time? I always thought that was just way too much information that people are sharing. If you're going to say where you're going, but you don't necessarily have to tell people when and the date and time and when you're flying in and the food you ate at a restaurant, and it's just way too much information, man. There's too many things that's happening to folks that are on IG on social media in general and talk about what they're doing. There was a recent rapper I just saw a video on YouTube. I forgot my brother's name. He's from a rap group. Oh my God, I forgot this dude's name. Let me see if I can pull him up here because I want to just give him a shout out. Let's see. He's with Scarface. What's that rap group, man? He has his Scarface. Oh my God. I think it's my mom's playing tricks on me. Ghetto Boys. And my man from the Ghetto Boys is, let me just make sure I get, it's Willie D. My man Willie D from the Ghetto Boys. My mom playing tricks on me. Yeah, so my man's coming up and he's doing this thing on YouTube. He found a little streak and he's getting a lot of eyes on his YouTube channel, man. Him talking about various topics and from his generation, from his experience. And he's the one that I saw that video on where this rapper was, I don't know where he's from. I think he's from probably Florida. Forgot the dude names. His name, it's not the concern here. What I'm trying to get at is the fact that this dude, I guess, was shouting out his enemies, talking about, yeah, this is where I live and any enemies got my problem. I forgot the name of the dude. I forgot the name. Let me see here, because it's on my mind and I want to let people know who it is, because maybe you will Google it at some point. Let me see, Willie D Live. Let me see if I can find his. He just recently spoke about it, and this dude, I'm like, what? Let me see if I can find it. No, wow, get out of here. I can't find it. Anyway, here we go. Tampa Bay. He's from Tampa Bay, Raleigh Bands. So this dude decided to, that Willie D was talking about, he decided to talk a lot of trash on social media and telling his enemies to pull up. And because, he was trying to play tough. And guess what happened? His enemies pulled up to the crib and lit him up. And he's dead. I don't know if he was dead on and at the where he lived at, or they took him to the hospital. He was dead. He put out that energy. He put it out, and it came right back to him. So yeah, that's wild. So I don't really talk about everything that I'm doing, because you don't know what's going on. The same thing what happened to Pop Smoke. He accidentally let out where he was at, and he had some bad dealings he did in the past, and someone decided to pull up, as they say, and and he got caught up in a robbery, man. Unfortunately, Pop Smoke, and he got killed in it. So yeah, but I am going to Disney World. It's going to be fun. It's going to be super fun. Of course, with the fam and everything like that. Never been in Disney World. It's a great opportunity to do it. I think my kid's a little old for it, and she's just squeaking out of that age where it's just gonna be like she's gonna be bedazzled by it. So, but it's still gonna be fun, bringing my nephew and niece and all that, and they're much older, so they won't do all that Disney, what do you call it, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and I can't remember their name, the Little Mermaid. They're not gonna do all that, but they will do rides. They do all the things, but it's gonna be a nice little, a couple days out there and then really experience it. So yeah, man, it's gonna be super dope. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll be out there soon. I'll let you guys know how everything turned out, and I'll do some video on a comeback. Definitely one of the things that I'm looking forward to is parasailing. I think that'd be nice. Never been parasailing. Tons of people have already done it. I've never done it. It's an opportunity to do it. I'm looking forward to it. You know what I mean? So yeah, anyway, so let's just get this show on a road on a lot of things that's been going on that I've been catching my eye on. This show's not going to be too long. It's going to be a little short joint. You know what I mean? Not that much I wanted to talk about this week. But yeah, anyway, so check this out. Oh my God. The Second Amendment, man. The Second Amendment. Oh, lovely Second Amendment. Everybody knows I've talked about it on the show. I'm a big two-way guy. I support people the rights to defend themselves, even though I said I was going to get into like the details or the historical, putting in the proper historical context what the Second Amendment means. I found some information and I thought it was very interesting how the Second Amendment applies to people that live in this country, and it was a different time, and I will get into details. I'll make it a part of the next show. Promise. I'll look it up. I'll get my information, my thoughts together, and I'll share it. But let's just say I'm a defender for the sake of this particular discussion. I'm a Second Amendment person. I'm all for people's right to defend themselves in whatever way possible. With handguns, shotguns, even at AR-15s. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Yes, I know there's been a lot of killings, mass shootings with AR-15s, and I understand it is a killing weapon, and I always said my response is we're dealing with serious mental health. Yes, and we are also dealing with America, being full and just overrun with guns, and a lot of bad people get a hold of it. So I totally understand that. So, sorry about that. Just got a little distracted, but they got a new joint out. It's more powerful than an AR-15. And I was reading this joint. I'm like, what? It is called the MCX Spear, made by the Sig Sauer Gun Company. It says it's much more powerful. It has a longer range. It's equipped with a noise suppressor that could make it hard for gunmen to be located. And the other thing was, what was the other thing? Here we go. It rips through, I guess, a generic bulletproof vest. Yo, I don't understand right now, man. I like I said, I'm a Second Amendment person and all that, but I'm like, wait a second. Why do we need to sell this to average everyday people? I mean, why is it necessary to make a long gun or an imitation like an AR-15 or the competitor to the AR-15 just that much more deadly? And on top of that, they're going to make a noise suppressor that it makes it hard to locate where the gunman is shooting from. I'm like, yo, check this out. I'm just like, sometimes you have to just draw the line. You got to draw the line. But in capitalism, there's no, you can do whatever you want. If you can sell it, you can sell it. And I know there's certain restrictions of what you can sell, but there's certain things that you just got to step into and say, wait a second. And in terms of this, maybe this is not a good idea. Why would you want to do this? Now, this weapon costs $8,000. $8,000. Now, who has $8,000 lying around? A lot of people. A lot of folks they do have $8,000 to spare to buy themselves an MCX-Spear. The representative of the 6 Hour Gun Company, the spokesperson, said they've sold about 5,000 so far. 5,000 of these things are already in circulation. Oh man, I would love to know the person who bought this thing. Like, what gets in your mind, for real? 5,000, and they plan to hopefully rev up the manufacturing of this particular weapon. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. I mean, where do you draw the line? I mean, like a grenade launcher, an M60, even though I think you can actually buy gun aficionados thing. I think you can buy an M60. I don't know if you could buy it around still. The M60's weapon is a gun turret weapon that's on the gunship helicopters. It's famous for in the movie Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I think it also the famous scene with Rambo shooting it up into the sky. So the M16 is a hell of a cannon of a weapon. It fits right under your armpit, and you just let off shots. All right. I mean, I don't know. You guys gonna have to find that out. But damn, where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line with what average everyday people can buy? Now, I guess there's not much of a line because I've seen them buy like not grenade launchers. What do you call it? Flamethrowers. Yeah, I mean, you could buy a flamethrower. Crazy. You can buy old style something other like I forgot the name of the Browning. I think the Browning. Like, you can buy some real hefty weapons. I don't know what restrictions or how a person can get a hold of these like freaking hand cannons. I don't know, but in light of everything that's going on with these mass shootings, with the children in Uvalde, the church that was shot up by that white supremacist dude recently, in the supermarket up in I think it was Buffalo, New York. It's just a whole bunch of them, man. You think, I don't know, man. Now, what even makes it worse, you have states in the United States at that saying, like Ohio, and I recently find out Georgia just jumped on that bandwagon, where now you could buy weapons without a gun permit. So now we just going back to the Wild Wild West. I mean, this is on some old fistful of dollars business, like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Clint Eastwood, like where do we? I guess everybody gonna get strapped up, right? Down south. It ain't happening in New York here where I'm at, but I guess when you go to any one of these particular joints, you just gonna go to Walmart strapped up. You're gonna have your MCX Spear on your back. You're gonna have the 45 millimeter on your hip, and you have the shotgun that's only slung on the other shoulder of your back. Like, everybody's gonna just go to the supermarket strapped, because that's what it sounded like to me. And everybody, and the whole thing with how that kid, what's his name, the kid that shot up the school in Uvalde, how he got a hold of that gun. So you just want to make it easier for just random people to get guns. I don't understand the motivation behind this. I really don't get all I can see is Republicans, which most of these bills are passed by Republicans, just straight up imploding. And it just, to me, what it sounds like, and this is my opinion, the Republicans that are in office right now, I think the Republicans right now, for those that are in power in their whatever positions and whatever regions that they represent, that they are straight having I don't even know, a freaked out hissy fit, and they're saying, well, you know what, if it's gonna go like this, ain't nobody gonna have it. I'm just gonna start installing anarchy up in this motherfucker. That's what it sounds like to me. If we can't have it for us, then we gonna straight up sabotage this whole motherfucker, and everybody gonna start shooting each other. We just gonna set off fucking anarchy up in here, mayhem, bringing hell to earth. Because I don't see why you would lift, the need for gun permits and background checks and all that, and at the same time put out even deadlier long rifles. I don't get it, man. But this is my take. If I lived in Georgia or I lived in Florida, one of these places, I tell you what, I ain't gonna be the only one. Ain't gonna be talking this mess and I'm not have it. I'm not gonna. If them fools that I know that live in my general area, if they ain't gonna run out and go get one, I'm gonna get one too. You know why? I don't want to be in a position where I can't defend myself. And you know how people are in this country, man. Might makes right, and then they're gonna have this weapon and they're gonna point at somebody. I've seen videos like that. Dudes get into fights and they got handguns. What happens when they take the L? They pull out the strap just to take control of the situation, just so they can feel they can dominate that person, and they clearly lost. So I'm not gonna be stupid. As much as I have my criticisms against his MCX beer, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna. Trust me, folks, I don't have $8,000 laying around to get an MCX beer, but I'm just saying, I'm buying weapons too. I'm getting my AR-15, my shotty, of course, for defense for the home, but I'm not going to be critiquing this and people are running to the gun stores. I'm buying the next hot joint, the deadlier weapon. I'm just standing there like, that's terrible. I'm not going to get, hell yeah, I'm going to go right down to that gun store, critiquing that joint. I don't think it should be available for people, but yeah, pass me that joint right there. I shit you not. That's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm not gonna be the only one with just a pea shooter and you got a freaking a grenade launcher on your shoulder ready to let that joint off, blowing up half a block. No, I'm not doing that. Next, I did see the Black Panther. So the San Diego Comic-Con went on. A lot of different trailers came out. You had the Shazam trailer. You had Black Adam trailer. I saw the what's it called? Oh my god! With I got the John Wick trailer, but that has nothing to do with Comic-Con. But I just thought I'd say that because it just came out right before San Diego Comic-Con started dropping these trailers. And then the Black Panther trailer, man, I'm really excited, man. I saw the trailer. It pulled on the feels. I'm not gonna lie. It got me in right here in the center. You know what I mean? I saw a lot of reaction videos of people gonna hold it, and I was holding it pretty good because I feel for the fact that this is just not something that's fictional. It actually it pulls from real life as far as with the death of Chadwick Boseman, and Ryan Coogler and everyone at Marvel Studios, and I'm sure the actors and everyone that had played a part in the development of this movie, or trying to figure out, okay, where do we go from here? Because it was so sudden and out of nowhere, the passing of Chadwick Boseman. So they wanted to do something that was going to honor him, and really carry on the Black Panther, franchise. So I'm feeling it. I saw the trailer, everything, Namor. Of course, Riri, there's gonna be Ironheart, and it looked, it was visually stunning. It was so cinematic. The colors were vibrant. The music was a perfect pick, with Bob Marley's "No Woman, No Cry," and kind of flowing into Kendrick Lamar's song. So yeah, I really dug man. If the movie is like the trailer, oh man, it's gonna be hard. I'm not even gonna lie. When I'm up in that theater, I don't know, man. I don't know. But of course, I also support the fact that they should hashtag recast T'Challa. I hope they don't use Chadwick Boseman's death in real life as a plot device to kind of bury T'Challa, the character. and everybody knows they've heard of this conversation before. It's all started by Iman, and I spoke about it on the show before, and I always talk about it, and whenever I bring about talk about Black Panther. But yeah, I think that they got to recast Black Panther. No doubt about it. Because, you know, we're literally living in a time of fiction where you have the multiverse, you got variants, you got, you know, reviving dead bodies and, you know, all these things. You got time travel. There's so many different things that human beings have thought up in the fictional world. I can't understand how it's just hard to try to figure out how to bring back the character of T'Challa. Even Chadwick Boseman wanted the character to live on. He felt that the role was bigger than him, and he didn't want to overshadow that role. He did a fantastic job as T'Challa, but of course, he would like to see it carry on with other people. No different from Superman, no different from James Bond, no different from Spider-Man. I mean, we are also, this is what adds to ridiculousness, and I'm going to say it again, we're also in the midst of having 3 Spider-Mans. Okay? Literally having 3 Spider-Mans exist in the same space. Okay? We had 2 freaking Joker movies. Not the same thing, but the studio was like, another studio was like, hey, we'll do 2 Joker movies. All right, we'll do the Joker movie that was supposedly supposed to be with Ben Affleck, and then with Jared Leto, and then we got Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. We can understand that. We can get that. We also have what else is going on in the movie business where time travel has been done time and time and again. You have the quantum zone, with the Ant-Man. I mean, there's so many ways you can split this. Loki, not just dealing with time travel, but of course the splintering off of the timeline with Kang. I mean, so many ways. How is it that we can't figure out how to bring back T'Challa and recast him? Because there's so many stories that T'Challa has in the Marvel that I would love to see on a big screen. It would be such a crime. It would be criminal, even worse than Rian Johnson's take on Star Wars, but what was it? Subvert expectations on where the Skywalker saga should go. It would be a worse crime than what Rian Johnson did with Star Wars. And everybody know me. You know that Rian Johnson. I liked Rian Johnson when he did the other films, but when they signed him up to do Star Wars, he is enemy number 1 in my book. All in good deal. You know, it's all good. Yeah, man. So they got to recast T'Challa, man. I love Chadwick Boseman. I'm going to see the film. I know it's going to pull a tear out of me a couple times because it was so unexpected, and the way he went out like a champ. A man with his chin held high, knowing that he was stricken with the disease, and he still went on performing the best way that he could as the actor of the highest pedigree and keeping that sickness to himself. Man, I tell you, man, that's a brave thing that he did, and that's what takes people so much. You know what I mean? That he had the courage to live on with this. Through his career, his young career. Yeah, man, I'm definitely gonna see Black Panther. Recast T'Challa. All right, so we're gonna go on January 6th committee, man. I've been following and not following, and I'm like, you know, I haven't really been following. I've been more bending towards not following because, you know, I've seen this before. All right. For the 4 years that Trump has been president, there have been so much investigations and mainstream media's I got you moments. I think mainstream media had at least, I don't know, 15 to 20 I got you moments with Trump. And every time they got people thinking that we were going to see this dude Trump let out in cuffs, where in Mar-a-Lago or wherever he at down in Florida, and it never ended up like that. Even his henchmen, Even his henchmen that got caught up in lies and covering up for Trump, they saw jail time, but it was a slap on the wrist. They spent like each one of them probably like 2 months, a month, and they got out. I'm like, really, bro? Really? They okay. The little satisfaction you were gonna give me by locking up, I don't know, the Riddler, that guy. I forgot the guy's name. He looks like a goddamn Batman villain character to me. Wearing the bowl cap. Stone or whatever the case, whatever that guy's name is, and this dude saw like a month of jail. So now we're here with the January 6th committee, and the MSM is mainstream media is back at it again, saying, oh, they had a plenty, and they do have I gotchas. I mean, they had the secretary come out on what Trump wanted to do after he had the rally, and he wanted to go down to the Capitol building because he was totally unafraid, even when they knew that they had weapons, and Secret Service was telling them he was trying to fight the Secret Service. I mean, everything. I mean, it was laughable, as it's been before, how mainstream media catches Donald Trump red-handed and doing fuckboy shit. It was amusing. It was, emotionally riling. Like, yeah. But you know what? You're never gonna catch me twice doing the same thing, or 3 times. Yeah, I try to be sharp with it and not get caught up again. And here we are in this January 6th committee, and they're catching them red-handed once again. And I bet you, bro, I'll say this. It is going to be an historic moment. I'm telling you. It is going to be historic on what the conclusion of this January 6th committee is. That's what I can say at the very least. In 2 ways. Because if they catch people and send them to jail, I'm talking about people in high position in the White House, and they catch people and people get locked up, that's historic. Historic for the fact because January 6th, it was a planned coup. It wasn't a riot. I know the news wants to say it was a riot. It wasn't even a riot. It was a planned coup. When you see the evidence unfold the way it did as far as the January 6th committee, everything from, the zip ties to bombs being planted to how did these people get in to tour the Capitol building beforehand, before the big day. And I mean, untold amount of evidence, right? Even coming from the Capitol Police and what they went through, everything. The testimonies up the wazoo. So it'll be nice to see some people, historic moments for someone to get locked up. Big names, big faces, right? Because it is something that this country, matter of fact, not since the early days of the formation of this country have you had something so crazy that everyone, their eyes were glued to the TV, that you were actually seeing a mass riotous, barbaric, bloodthirsty people willing to perform a coup. And don't get it twisted with all those people there that were mixed in with the crowd. They were trying to treat it like it was a trip to Disneyland, where they were just like, we're storming the Capitol, it's a revolution, and it looked cute and funny. No. Those are the things that you want to see. Those are the harmless ones. But we know that was mixed in with all those people, the bloodlust in that crowd. There was mixed in people that were ready to take it all down. They were ready to burn it down. And if they had an opportunity, they would have. The way they ran up in those politicians' offices, they didn't care if you was Republican or Democrat, because you know how it is when you start a mob. When you start a mob, it doesn't make sense. There's no rhyme or reason to how a mob works or where it goes, or that they can control themselves. It gets out of hand real quick, and that's what Donald Trump started. So it'll be good, historic in that. Now, it's also going to be historic when no one gets arrested. That's also historic. Why? Because just as I said, the same way where you had a bloodthirsty, barbaric, a demonic mass of people that were willing to destroy government operations, usurp governmental operations, tear down government buildings, they were ready to go. from the very beginning. It's how the January 6th committee laid it out, from minutes and seconds to minutes and seconds. They mapped it out. And for someone not to go to jail, even the prime suspect of them all, Donald Trump, what is the worst crime that a citizen can commit on their country? Treason and sedition and the attempt to run a coup. To me, that is the worst crime that you can do. There's nothing above that you can say that tops seditious behavior over some fake BS idea that the election was stolen. And everybody knows what that whole thing was about too. That was about white folking. They was tripping. They love Donald Trump. They knew who Donald Trump is. He is king white supremacy. And as long as he is in office and he can maintain their precious position as the racists that they are, then that's who they want. They don't care what he does, who he fucks over, whatever. As long as you maintain my whiteness, you're the president for me. And that's what they want. They want nostalgia of what this country was before the time, probably in 1955, when everything was nice and cozy and the white man had it just the way he wanted. Right? So he maintained that white supremacist power structure. So they didn't care. So to see this guy go to jail, right? He orchestrated the whole thing. But for someone to do something as wickedly, I'm trying to find the adjectives, folks, and as destructive and as childish and as conniving as what Donald Trump did, he deserves to be in jail. I don't care what country you come from. You could come from Turkey, Egypt, South Africa, China, Japan, American Samoa, Australia, Bangkok. I don't care where you come from or where it happens. Everybody treats it the same way. And if the place where this country says, the American exceptionalism and the being patriotic and being the greatest country in the world and leading the world, where this shining beacon of light and all that yada mumbo jumbo drabble, saying all those things, and then here it is, you got a guy that stepped all over it, spit on it, tore it, burned it, put it out, put it in feces, rummaged it through it, spit on it again. Everything that he did in those last moments as president, excuse me. If he doesn't see jail, that will forever change how people feel about this country. I'm not talking about the Trump occultists that don't think he could do anything wrong. I'm talking about your average everyday American that knows that this was problematic, it was bad, and when it crescendoed into January 6th, their soul dropped to the bottom of their stomach. It's like, wait, this is not how I wanted it to go. This is not typical Republican behavior. And everybody knew everything for the last 4 years since he got elected. They knew what Donald Trump was doing wasn't typical Republican behavior. But by seeing this on television, man, television is a great invention. By seeing it on television, the same way when people saw the Vietnam War, because the Vietnam War was the first televised war ever, and that's what built up the mass consensus and attitude to stop the Vietnam War, where that a lot of people were mad at the soldiers, and maybe some of it was misdirected anger. It was just young, poor people just going off to fight a random war, but that's what fueled the protests to stop the Vietnam War, seeing all those deaths, Americans dying and all that, senseless actions that led to so many American deaths. So here it is, you see it on in real time at the moment, the actions that was put on by these idiots, putting on an insurrection. And here it is, January 6th, 2022. We're going through it. Nobody sees jail. That will forever sap that American exceptionalism energy right out the people. And I don't know where would it go. I think it would. I don't know what that means for America in the next 20, 40 years, but it definitely, if the top dog doesn't get it, if no one gets it, or they get slaps on the wrist after all this at the January 6th committee, it will forever change the trajectory on how people feel about this country. Those flags will wave a little less energetic, for lack of a better word, a little less hard. People will kind of like droop their hand when they want to salute. Their hand kind of like slide down to the stomach when they want to put their hand across their heart, across their chest. The Star Spangled Banner doesn't seem as vibrant and highly spirited when you say those words, right? July 4th, of course. Everything surrounding, and that was the energy that I knew a lot of times when I was watching, online social media. Wasn't the same. Even I just went to July 4th to see the fireworks. I wasn't really into all that July 4th stuff. Everything that they said. I mean, where was I in that during that time? 1776. Put me back in the time machine. Hell no. So anyway, So that's what it is, man. That's what people will feel. Where is this going to go? How is this going to affect how America looks at itself? And how will citizens react to this? What are the long-term effects when they see that no one is going to go to jail? And it's only compounds what people already feel, that the government has failed them. So that's going to be interesting as we get older, at my old age in my 40s. What that's going to be, of course, with the new generation that's 17, 15, 12, when they get to be adults, how is that going to affect? That's going to be interesting. Next thing is Netflix. Netflix cut about 300 jobs in lieu of the loss of subscribers to the streaming service. It doesn't look good, but at the same time, isn't that a part of business? Sometimes you have ebb and flows. You go up and you go down. I think they they lost about 200,000 subscribers. And to me, you just can't have year over year positive growth. That's impossible. I know a lot of times you look at these charts, quarterly charts, yearly charts of these businesses, and they always say, oh, we did 1.5% better or 2.5%. There's no such thing as year over year positive growth. Sometimes you're going to take some losses for whatever it is due to word that's happening in politics, what's going on around the country, or something that's happening right under your nose that can affect your revenue stream. So that goes to show that. I think, Netflix just flatlined, and, they're dealing with a lot. You're dealing with Russia cutting off service. I think they lost about close to 1 million of subscribers since shutting their service down because of the Russia-Ukrainian war. And, it could be a little bit of the pricing. People think it's pricey. I have Netflix. I don't have a problem with it. Yeah, I think it's about $22. I forget. I still like Netflix and the shows that they give. I'm not going anywhere. It is what it is. If it gets to be like $30, that's when I'll start thinking about canceling it. But what's $20, man? It is what it is. You get a lot of good content through Netflix, and I think Netflix is going to bounce back from it. I don't think anything bad is going to happen to Netflix. They're just going through a slump right now. But it's funny. I never understand their revenue stream as opposed to the money that they borrowed in order to cranking out these movies. I think I read somewhere that they spend more than they earn. In 2021, they spent $17 billion. They made $1.6 billion in profit for 2022. With the money that they borrowed in order to make all these movies, they just squeak out with profit, like a $1 billion profit. I'm like, damn. So I don't know. Because of Netflix taking this little slump, they're saying that they're going to be possibly adding advertising. They're getting into GameFi, of course. Everybody knows what GameFi is. Of course, you're paying into these games that the kids play, when they're like Roblox. So in order for them to furnish their digital house or buy digital clothes, they use real money to buy Robux. I spoke about it before in the Space on Fanbase. And they're looking to get into that. So, and I think there's a Stranger Things, that famous show on Netflix, that they're going to try to turn into a game, I think, if I read that correct, to figure out how they add revenue streams and make up for the lost subscribers. So will you go through? I mean, listen, I'll pay for not to see. I don't want to see any commercials, man. Commercials annoy me on YouTube. So we'll see how that goes. The Black News Channel is not dead. Everybody knows the Black News Channel that was owned by Shahid Khan, owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's the wild thing is Byron Allen, the black media mogul. This dude bought the Black News Channel for a cheap price of $11 million in federal bankruptcy court. Big ups to him. I thought that thing was just going to go. I thought it was gone. The guy, shorted all of those people that worked for the Black News Channel, and that was a little rip and roar at the time. And my man sold it. I thought it was DOA. I thought it was dead in the water. But my man came up and scooped that up. And he owns the Weather Channel. He's got a lot of other business that he has under like another notch on his belt. And I wish him all the luck at the Black News Channel. Byron Allen. I've been watching Byron Allen since I was a kid. That's how far back Byron Allen goes. He had an entertainment show when I was a kid, like in my teens, that came on late night, like 1 o'clock in the morning, like 2 o'clock. And I would be up, and then Byron Allen would come on, and I watch Byron Allen. You'll be surprised what comes on at that late at night and who will be watching. But I remember Byron Allen back in the day. Now here it is to see Byron Allen has come this far. More props to him. Good luck on the Black News Channel. Matter of fact, I may reach out in terms of podcasting, but he did his thing. He's doing this thing. So I look forward to see what he's going to do with Black News Channel. Big ups. So I saw this thing called Kraft Heinz, man. Everybody knows Kraft and Heinz. Kraft that makes, I think they make mayo, but they definitely make cheese and a lot of other products. And everybody knows what Heinz is. Heinz is the ketchup company. So they merged back in 2015. I had no idea. But anyway, that's not the point. The point that I'm trying to get at is that I spoke about this on Fanbase. Anybody's on Fanbase? No Fanbase. That's owned by Isaac Hayes Jr. The third. I think Isaac Hayes the third. And he owns Fanbase, and definitely people should go on there and sign up and be a part of Fanbase. But I was in the space, and I was talking about the Kraft Heinz. They're actually providing grants to Southern Black restaurants. They partnered with one particular organization called the Southern Restaurants for Racial Justice, that they focus on dismantling racial and economic disparities in the restaurant industry. Now, through this partnership, they're going to grant some monies to people, small black businesses, in the ranging from $15,000 to $25,000. Okay, pretty cool, right? Pretty cool, right? I understand. I'm with that. They want to do something for black restaurant owners, black founders, and through this grant with this organization, giving $15,000 to $25,000. Fantastic. However, just pull the reins a little bit. pull the reins a little bit. Not to shit on people's parade, but here we go. I recognize these numbers, and the same numbers that Chase Manhattan Bank did for small business owners in the Bronx many years ago. I don't know how that program has come along, but yeah, man. So Kraft Heinz is doing this, and they're giving out $15,000 to $25,000. So the same thing where I did with Chase, I did with Kraft Heinz. So I looked up to see, and all this is public information, to see what they're making. Just to see what they're making, what they're holding, see how big they are. So their annual revenue was $25 billion in the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2022. Their operating expenses for that same year was $22.2 billion. Well, they got a little money, right? They got a little money for 2022. And I further looked up gross profit. And gross profit is pretty much when you When you take care of your expenses, man, your manufacturing, your overhead, you're getting the raw materials, making it, all the services, marketing, that's, pretty much everything. Once that's paid for, what a company is left with is their gross profit. What is left over after paying all your bills, right? From the revenue that you made or generated in one particular year. So their gross profit for 2022 was $2 billion. It's kind of close to what I said before. Sometimes those numbers can be a little different, but you get the gist of it. In 2021, their gross profit was $8.6 billion. In 2020, it was $9.1 billion. And in 2019, it's $8.1 billion. That's gross profit. Folks, do you know where I'm coming from with this? Please let me know if you know where I'm coming from. When you know where I'm going with this, okay, just hold your horses for those that don't understand. So year over year, they've made gross profit well into the billions. Now, some of that goes to the shareholders. Of course, you did a good job. They kind of high five each other and say, yeah, and they get a couple $1 million. They bless their pockets. So these people are well paid. But of course, they're not given all the money. This money is put away for whatever contingencies that may occur. They want to open, more stores, whatever the case may be, right? But a good chunk of these gross profits go somewhere. It's the same thing when you work a job, right? You work in $150,000 a year, $250,000 a year. You spend on all these other things, but whatever's left over, you put away. Where you put it away? In Chase Manhattan Bank, Bank of America, the variety of different banks and community banks for the regular working class folks. But when you come to this much money, where does that money go? Where does that money go? You're making billions upon billions every year. Where does that money go after you do all the other payouts? You're not spending all the money. Now, what does this have to do with Kraft Heinz doing that grant program with the Southern Restaurants for Racial Justice, right? Well, this is what I'm saying. You have billions of dollars put away, and you're doing this program to help African-American founders in the restaurant business, and all you can give them is $15,000 to $25,000. I even looked up what it takes to back in the day when I was talking about Chase Manhattan Bank, same thing, and here this is reoccurring, and I was like, wait a second, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Where does this money go? Why give so little? So I was like, wait a second. They said Southern Restaurants. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let me see how many black restaurant owners or black businesses, let me just be general, are in the South. So in Fayetteville, North Carolina is 585. The DMV, of course, that's Delaware, Maryland, Virginia. That's 8,641. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach is 6,204. That's a lot. 1525. That's a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just handpicking some of these, so I'm not getting the whole South. So of course you're not gonna give any more than that. That's just a lot of money adds up. So then I read the article further, and they said that the Heinz charitable endeavor awarded $1,136,000. Guess to how many businesses? 72. 72 businesses. That's the only business. Those are the only businesses that got funded by the Heinz when they did this grant program the previous year. I don't know if it's 2021, but previous year. 1 million. Yo. Couldn't the Heinz have offered more money? As I said, it costs a base $150,000, $200,000 to start a clothing company, because I looked it up. You got to have money to open a store to sell clothes. Now you might say, yo, Nova, this is the 21st century. They can open up their business online. Yeah, that's true for some businesses, but we're dealing with restaurant business. It takes a lot. It's a brick and mortar endeavor $15,000 to $25,000 to help black businesses? So I was like, all right, if you're going to do, how about out of all those billions that they are stashing away somewhere, what if they just said, let me allocate $20 million? If you're only going to give it out to 72 businesses and you have a limit, and you say you just $20 million it's a sliver off the iceberg of save money that Kraft Heinz has. You know how much that gets split up between 72 businesses? That comes up to $277,000. And that's nothing. $20 million is nothing to Kraft Heinz. 20 is nothing. So what if they didn't want to give 270? They could just do it for 150. That's a decent sized nut to start your restaurant business, to fund it. If they said 15 to 25, I would go for 15 to 25 if they did a follow-up grant program. Say, after a year, for those initial 72 businesses that got funded, we'll look, Kraft Heinz will look into them and be like, hey, listen, do you need anything else? Blah, blah, blah. We're actually having a follow-up grant program for 15 to 25,000 to cover any unexpected costs that you may have. Then I could deal with that. But initially, that's crumbs off the table. You heard what I said, what they were making gross profit for the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah, as I tell people, all that is a hoodwink. It's a PR stunt to me to make it seem that they were really connecting with the African American community. They gave a little peanut. It's wild. I would have just fell for that hook, line, and sinker if they did what I just said. If they allocated $20 million to 72 businesses per year, I would have went for it. I would have never said that there was a PR stunt. But when you see the type of money that they're giving out to these small black founders in these restaurants, $15,000, it's absurd. It's a joke. And you see right through it. They can't even get their hustle right. They couldn't even be like, let's give like 20 million. You know what I mean? Let's give like 10 million. 1 million, a little over 1 billion, 1 million for 72 businesses. I'm not telling people, for those that applied for these grants, not to take it. I understand. But at the same time, look, let me speak for you. It's shit to give away the penance of the gruel at the bottom of the bowl. That ain't no money, especially in 2022. You know how much it costs just to live? Now you want to start a business and you're going to give 15 to 25,000. Now you want to pat yourself on the back. You want to say, I did something for the poor black people. For these founders that they're dealing with all this racial discrimination, I feel so much better. Don't you think, Todd? Nah, man. Come on, give me a break. Stop it. Stop praising yourself. No, I think it's a farce. You really want to give them 72 businesses. If you want to top out at that for the year, at least base 100,000. Now that's a grant. I tell you, that's a grant. That's a grant. And people will respect Kraft Heinz for putting their money where their mouth is. What you're doing right now, you're pandering, man. You're pandering, trying to big up your Kraft Heinz business and making it look morally superior. And right after George Floyd, I want to help black people. Get out of here. Last thing before I get out of here, I just find this information. Marilyn Mosby, the DA for Baltimore, she got primaried. I don't understand Marilyn Mosby. Marilyn Mosby was a DA that was known for pursuing criminal charges against those 6 police officers who killed Freddie Gray. She also dropped a lot of the petty crime charges for those that were getting picked up by it in Baltimore because he thinks it was just shuffling people into jails. Marilyn Mosby, how did she get primaried by a guy named Ivan Bates, another Democrat? Baltimore is a majority Democrat city. How, folks? I'm speaking to my black people directly. How you let Marilyn Mosby get primaried? And she got caught up with some bullshit loan application thing. She was indicted on 2 counts of perjury and making false statements on purchasing a home in Kissimmee, Florida, and a condo in Longboat Key, Florida, something like that. 2 different spots in Florida. She pleaded not guilty. She's fighting the case. I don't get it. I don't get it. Of course, to me, this is some bullshit, trumped up charges. Yo, when she was putting the case on those 6 officers after killing Freddie Gray, what do you think? You think this white supremacist structure is just gonna let it be? They were digging, man. They were digging. I just don't understand it. She got primaried, man. She fought for y'all. Fought black people in Baltimore. But yo, 80, okay, and I saw this piece. It was a still shot. 7% of the precincts reported. Bates got 26,660 votes. An Indian guy named Thiru Vignaraja, I think that's pronounced, got 20,349 votes. Mosby got 19,931 votes. It was equaling to a total of 66,940 votes. Now, this is my question to you, all right? That's the people that voted, but this is my thing that I like to say. So I was reading articles because I'm trying to find information. How many registered voters are there in Baltimore? It says, one article said 311,000 registered as Democrats, 30,000 as Republicans, and 52,000 chose to remain unaffiliated. Now, these numbers, the math ain't mathing here, folks. The math is not mathing. How, Sway? How did Marilyn Mosby get primaried based on those numbers that came in for the people that voted during that time period? There's 311,000 registered Democrats in the city of Baltimore. Why are these numbers so low? Why? And I'm not saying to you as a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. But I'm saying if Marilyn Mosby is a Democrat, but Baltimore is a primarily Democratic city. It's been for many, many, many years. So you know a Democrat is going to be voted in that city. And there's 311,000 registered Democrats and only 66,000 people voted. Yo, this blows my mind. That's why, folks, just wait for this guy Ivan Bates to kind of get comfortable in his seat. You know, he knows where all the cracks and the fucked up parts of that wooden chair in that office is. Right, let him get comfortable with that position in his chair. Once he gets comfortable, let's see what he does out in the streets. And I guarantee you, I have a strong feeling this guy is going to go right back into throwing his own folk, because I'm pretty sure he's black, his own folk into jails. I'm going to go back right. Black folk, why didn't y'all go out there and keep Marilyn Mosby in there, man? She showed you what she was, what her agenda was. She showed you who she supported. She showed you that she was going to fight for you when it came to police brutality. And y'all was going to let this. The article said that, you know, one of the things that probably made her numbers so low was this whole thing about, you know, making false statements on some houses in Florida to. I mean, folks, come on, man. Y'all got to be smarter voters than that, man. I mean, really? How did you guys allow Marilyn Mosby to get primary? Now you got, let's see what happens with this guy, Ivan Bates. Let's see what he does. But I have a good feeling he's not Marilyn Mosby. Y'all, that's why it's important to vote, people. That's why I'm saying, I know it's early, but let's just say Ivan Bates turns out to be a dirtbag. That's why it's important to vote, because when you don't vote, then it's either going to be someone that's going to treat you at the bottom, treat you like you're the scrap or the dirty scrap at the bottom of the barrel, and you're going to complain that you're not going to get proper attention. You're going to complain that you're rounding up your sisters and your brothers and your cousins and throwing them in jail. The good ones and the bad ones. They just corralling all y'all's in the jails. You're going to complain when he supports that. And I'm going to come right back to this and say, you allowed Marilyn Mosby to get primaried. It was your fault. That's why it's important to vote. either you're going to vote for someone like Marilyn Mosby, regardless of what color it is. I don't care if you black, white, Asian, I don't care. But if you know that they're for you in your city, to make sure that you don't turn into cattle, you support them, you vote them in, you keep them in there. Now you're going to get someone that looks like you, that's pretty much the pawn for the status quo in Baltimore City halls of politics. And now this dude is going to do the bidding, just going to go right ahead and allow black folk to be locked on up. But we'll see. I could be wrong. I'll put my foot in my mouth if he turns out to be a good guy, Ivan Bates. We'll see what happens in the next couple months. But yeah, it's sad, man. I'm sorry. And I wish her best of luck, Marilyn Mosby, so she could get out of this bullshit charges, indictment that's on her. So yeah. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for listening to all the words that I said. I appreciate you. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic week. I will see you next week. I'm going to get out of here and continue on with my life. All right, guys. Peace.
Yo, check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com. For the global community,
We worldwide, baby.
see you in the next go-round. From right here to your town, we out.